And here people were thinking the undercard might not be exciting. It's a nice win for you. How do you feel about your fight?
Yeah, it was a great fight. Again, my technique worked this time, so it was fantastic, and that was definitely one of those things that it was in the back of my head. And Dana mentioned it again in the locker room. You know, everyone was knocking the card because a lot of the names fell off, but look at these fights so far. They're incredible. So we're giving the fans their money's worth. I truly believe that, and you know, just because we don't have the name doesn't mean we can't put out the performance, and I think we're showing that so far.
How much does that factor into your brain, though, when you're thinking about fight bonuses and putting on an exciting show, and at the same time, what if your strategy wasn't necessarily to go headhunting?
It could happen, yeah. You know, I walked into this fight, exactly what I worked on is pretty much what happened. You know, again, sometimes it doesn't happen, but this time it did, and it turned out pretty good in my favor, and at the same time, it gave the fans the entertainment they needed, and you know, it's my pleasure always to do that as well, right?
You're coming off a loss that took place down in Brazil. How does it feel to be the guy at the home with the home crowd advantage tonight?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I've traveled all over the world, and finally, you know, I've come home, basically. That's how I felt, and I did get a little emotional. I tend to be a little emotional guy, and you know, one of the things they always told me when I walked out there was, be yourself, and that's me. I'm a bit emotional sometimes, and I also feel for my opponents. You know, he came out, you know, from Houston, Texas, flew out here to fight me in front of all these people, and you know, you got to give a man credit for that, and I respect him, and you know, I think he's a great fighter still, and you know, if we were to fight again, it might be, you know, different.
You're known as a very strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. How satisfying is it to get a KO win?
Yeah, I mean, I do have kickboxing experience. Unfortunately, my first fight in the UFC didn't turn out too good for me in that sense. I looked really stiff, and there were a lot of things that were wrong with me in terms of I guess my technique and the way my body was moving, and it was something that I seriously had to be very honest with myself when I went back to the gym and just break myself down again. And it was very hard, but I'm very lucky that my coaches, you know, instilled the confidence in me again to come out and